evening to you beautiful people around the world. How are you doing? It's me, Dre Charles, and I'm here with Broncopolis. And we are here to do GOML NA Open for the West Qualifier this time. We're going to be looking at a lot of Californian players, as well as people from Washington, I believe, and the such. And Bronc, you want to...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be some of the best of the Western talent, as you said. Talent not just on the coast, but we also have some players from the likes of Utah, from Nevada, even a Hawaiian top player as well. So a whole lot of different regions being represented here today. Of course, the 8 qualifying players will move on to tomorrow's bracket to face off against some of the 8 already invited players, including Bestness, Elegant, Pandarian, Stroder, NVD, household names for any Smash fan, so this will be a good one for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic bracket. Just looking at the pools, we see some classic names like Cyro, you've got Shu, you know, Rafi, people that you've seen perform very well on the West Coast, both offline and online, but you've also got people that have been coming up online as well, like T3 Dom and some others. And this bracket, honestly, is looking to be a pretty good time. We've got 8 pools leading into top 32.
For sure. There's a lot of heavy hitters no matter what pool you're looking at. As you mentioned, this is going to be some of the clash of these, you know, perennial PR mainstays, the Klatus and the Versed Aces and the Cyros of the world versus some of these upstart players, some of these players who made their name on Wi-Fi over the past 2 months. Matt Bro, Frog, another player who does have some offline experience, but who really vaulted themselves into the spotlight recently. So this will be a good one for sure.
Yeah, things are looking to be pretty fire. And going into things, I'd like to throw a shout out to Red Bull for sponsoring this event. Absolutely fantastic sponsor, has been giving EMG and the likes so much support, and things are going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. They've been so helpful behind the scenes. Could not do any part of the production without them. Additional shout out to the EMG team as well, all of them working, who you may not see on stream today, but they are all doing their part to make us and make these players look as good as they are. And without them, none of this would be even remotely possible.
Just looking deeper into this bracket, I'm seeing people I haven't seen in quite some time, like Pixel, who used to play Ryu and I believe plays Junior and Falco in this game. Used to play Ryu in Smash 4. Going through, I see Ludo here as well, who I believe plays Lucas. I could be wrong on that. But that's pool A1. We've got Pixel as, I believe, Pixel and Versed Ace, I believe, are the first 2 seeds in that pool. Going down, we have Cyro, Frog, Midnight, and a couple of others in pool A3. This is actually looking to be a pretty deadly one. I believe it's going to end up being Cyro and Midnight if things play out as they're seeded, playing in semis on one side, and Frog and Acrony or Guts.
Yeah, that'll be a good one for sure. Cyro definitely has the Palutena practice, having jump steady in region, whereas Midnight has faced off against his own share of Roys. So these are 2 players who don't lack for experience in their matchup, and it's just going to be a matter of how their individual playstyles clash. Looking over to pool A7 as well, I'm really excited for the projected Urameshi versus Marvelous Marco matchup. That's Toon Link and Snake, and again, both of these players have this character experience, and this is one of the most interesting matchup. One of the best zoners in the game in Toon Link versus a character that really is an ultimate powerhouse, no matter how you want to play them in Snake. If Urameshi does decide to go Snake, we see he has a Meta Knight as well, so any way that one goes, that is going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, and I know we've all heard of Bestness, but not all of us have heard of Fatness, and I believe that's who we're going to have on the other side of this pool playing T3 Dom in semis if everything plays out according to plan. So should be intriguing.
Absolutely.
Do we know if Fatness is a Ness player?
I'm not sure. I think he at least plays him somewhat. I would have to check if it's his main or not, but he's another player who's, again, recently, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, no one's heard of Fatness. Fatness has some regional results, but through some of these online brackets, some of these opportunities that have arisen from some of these circumstances we've all been facing, he's starting to become someone more and more people have heard of.
Yeah. All right, so we've got a graphic coming up for the format and tomorrow's regional bosses.
Yeah, as we mentioned, some of the talent on display tomorrow. Best Nest, Elegant and Charlie the King, two of the best players in SoCal. Prodigy from NorCal. Louis Money also from that same region. Stroder and Pandarian from that same Pacific Northwest and Arizona. And MVD, who recently moved from Oklahoma to Las Vegas, so he's now part of this region as well. The West just becomes more and more stacked over time. Any one of these could take it.
Yeah, all of these regional bosses are quite threatening. I mean, you have Prodigy, who's beaten the best in the world offline, which already is just quite a testament to his skill. We've got Best Nest, who's been performing fantastically online and was doing pretty well offline, made BGR. We have Charlie the King, whose stream has been on the come up. We always know Charlie as one of those extension lords, has some of the nastiest routes in the game. So you never really know what's going to happen if Charlie actually manages to touch his opponent, you know? And just so many threats. We've got Louis Money as well, who's just pretty consistent and ends up falling within the top cut. Doesn't always break into that top 8, you know, into that top 16 at some of the bigger events, but is always top cut, that top 32, that top 48 at all your events. And
Absolutely.
Pandarian, Stroder, MVD, also Elegant, all just very consistent players.
Yeah, that is the name of the game, consistency. 7 of these 8 players are or have been PGR at one point in Ultimate's lifespan, and the one who hasn't, in Charlie the King, is the current number 1 in SoCal. So any way you slice it, it's a heavy hitter if you even make it to tomorrow, no matter who you run into.
Just like to throw quick shout outs to the EMG team for this fantastic looking graphic.
Absolutely. You know, week in and week out, we've been able to showcase some of these regional bosses, and you'll get to see some of them play tomorrow on Sunday. Today is just the qualifier event. 8 of the players from this 224-man field will be moving on to tomorrow, where each of the qualifiers will face off against an invited opponent. And that could be scary as well, because not only do you have this prospect of, oh, I've played the top players from my region before, but if you're a SoCal up-and-comer and you don't have the matchup experienced against a Best Nest, against a Stroder, because they aren't next door, that's scary. That's frightening.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, your run-of-the-mill Greninja or Ness experience isn't going to help you against players like Best Ness or Stroder, who've just got this giant toolkit of things that not many players of those characters expose except for them. We have Best Ness using some of the nastiest magnet movement, constantly just... I mean, people like to call it mashing a lot of the time, and it can definitely look like mashing, but the way he hovers outside of people's bubbles while still presenting a consistent threat is so scary, and if you don't walk in with the knowledge of how to deal with that, you're going to get blown back.
Yeah, precisely. Best Nest plays with such a great effective range. You have to respect him at a greater distance, more so than you do most Nest players, because he can go in at a moment's notice, but also fake you out, be reverse the magnet, land beneath the platform, and just claim an entire half of the stage if you let him.
Yeah, very scary. And then... All right, so our first match up is going to be Psi Guy versus Blanca.
This will be a good one for sure. Psi Guy, one of the foremost Nest players in SoCal, a good friend of mine, actually, a regular at Hollywood Action Tuesdays, and a great player in his own right. He's managed to take some great wins. I remember he beat Charlie the King at the very start of Ultimate's life cycle, so has some good wins under his belt. We'll have to see how he adapts to this environment.
All right. Yeah, we've got Psi Guy on Ness. I'm just gonna pop in real quick, see if the other person selected it. It's got a very intense looking profile picture, and it's Blanca. So my guess is a Street Fighter character, but if it's not, I'm gonna be baffled. I'm not gonna hold you guys. Mega Man.
Interesting. If it is the Mega Man, as some people are suspecting, that's not a character that you see too often in SoCal. The one really prominent Mega Man in SoCal is Leo, and he lives all the way down a bit more south of Psi Guy. Leo, of course, actually in today's bracket as well, but it's not a matchup that you see Psi Guy have this practice every day, whereas he does have the likes of Charlie, Jump Steady, Nito in his backyard. This might be a bit unfamiliar to him if he's not careful.
Yeah. You've always got to watch out for those trickier matchups, and Ness versus Mega Man since Smash 4 has been a little bit weird on both sides because Ness can definitely expose his recovery, and Mega Man's that nice, meaty combo weight. You hit Mega Man, things are going to get real fun, real fast, as long as you know what you're doing with your routes. But if you can't get through the neutral, if you can't get through that pellet wall, if you don't know what you're doing to get around Metal Blade, you're definitely never ever going to touch him. And it's scary.
Yeah, not just the weight of Mega Man, but the fall speed as well makes it so perfect for Ness's early and mid-percent strings. As you said, I do expect this to be a matchup where if both players are evenly matched, you're going to see Mega Man in advantage more often than Ness. It's just a matter of whether he can capitalize on strings and find these conversions more so, because the onus is going to be on him as Ness's percent ticks up.
Yep, for sure. And it can be a little bit scary for Mega Man off map, but he also, if he can manage to put Ness off first, really does threaten a lot of the zones that Ness kind of gets away with for free. Like, just hovering low and making people guess between if it's going to be PK Thunder or air dodge up. A lot of the time, Ness can get away with that because most people can't swing fast enough at the air dodge up to actually punish it in time. But Mega Man puts down air there, it's going to meaty your air dodge, or it'll catch you for doing the late PK Thunder. So the Psi Guy is definitely going to have to be very careful about how he goes about recovering during this whole set.
Yeah, Psi Guy obviously very practiced with his angles, and he'll have to be in this matchup because, as you said, Mega Man is someone who doesn't necessarily need to be at the ledge to threaten with a ledge trap or an edge guard. He can hover above with down air. He can go back with either a Metal Blade, a Leaf Shield, a forward smash. Threaten him from a distance for a point where, you know, Ness's forward air from ledge, some of his best out-of-the-corner tools might not be as effective.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also going to be hard because Ness has a pretty nice short hop just in terms of the aerials he gets out of them, like fair, back air, nair are all going to be able to stop the projectiles. But if he doesn't get those aerials out of time, he's just going to get his jump clipped, and he's just going to land short of Mega Man and just have to sit there and eat the next 2 pellets for free, or he's going to he's going to hold shield and potentially get grabbed. So Mega Man has a lot of nice, like, 50-50-esque situations where it's almost like a tick throw that he can put Mega Man in because that he can put Ness in because he's so floaty.
You're absolutely right there. He does need to be careful about conserving his double jump, just not overextending, not overreaching, because without those resources, Mega Man is one of the best jugglers in the game. Mega Man is one of the best edge guarders in the game, so it's pick your poison if you're Psi Guy caught in that sort of disadvantage.
And we are actually going to have Terry Ness here, a matchup that ends up playing out a little bit awkwardly because Terry doesn't have as easy as of a time comboing Ness, but ooh, that's just going to be an unfortunate SD. Gets clipped out of the double jump low by the PK Thunder.
Yeah, that's a tone setter within 15 seconds of the match. You never want to see a match start like that if you're Blanca.
And things are looking a little bit scary for Blanca. Hasn't confirmed off of F tilt yet. Is just kind of playing a pretty tit for tat neutral here. And Psi Guy is getting away with the game very quick, now lapping.
Yeah, Psi Guy doing a great job of maintaining his distance, just catching him overextending with the power waves, and that time the up special is going to get him grabbed. So doing a great job at the punish, and the PK Thunder Rocket is going to make it 3 stocks to 1. Psi Guy already asserting dominance within a minute of the first game.
Yeah, an absolutely classic Ness trap right there. You catch the double jump with the tail, true combo it into the rocket. Very classic stuff right there. Almost gets the Nair Fair extension to kill Blanca. Unfortunately, another SD. Very quick game coming out from Psi Guy. Very dominant. Very, very dominant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hopefully we have a little bit less SDs from Blanca next time.
You'd have to hope. Again, Psi Guy does have Nito in region, and Nito has a very strong Terry secondary. So this is someone he's had this match of practice against, knows that he wants to play a few body lengths away from him. Not too far, but far enough to the point where you want him to overextend. And he just did that twice and got punished both times for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of suffering off stage there versus the PK Thunder, not charging up B in time to make it through. And ends up losing his double jump on his way up there. Both times, first stock and third.
I don't even know if it was a matter of the stage being the issue either, because again, if you're going to give Ness a triplat, you give him extra room to juggle, you give him extra space to operate, and he can more easily cover high, but it was just a matter of, he couldn't even get in the first place. You need to have that movement down before you can even think of taking it aerially, going to those 50-50 scenarios in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ness just also a character you really don't want to air-to-air, for the most part, especially if he's facing backwards, you air-to-air Ness, you're probably suffering as he takes a little tap at worst, and even like trading with Nair and occasionally like the last hit of up air is really just not worth it. It's more worth to try and get an anti-air on Ness if you can. And he did get a couple here and there with the F tilts, but not confirming off of it is going to end up being a problem.
Absolutely. You do just probably want to whiff punish more so than anything else. Not risk yourself getting trades. And if you do find yourself caught in a PK fire, even after landing an F tilt, you're going to be in disadvantage after hitting your move.
I think we have the switch to K. Rool from Blanca and Kirby from PSI, if I saw that correctly. But I don't know if they're sticking to those characters because they SD'd super quickly, I imagine, to just reset the game. They locked them in. Interesting. Kirby K. Rool. That just sounds hard for K. Rool a little bit. Dealing with someone that short.
Right. I mean, you'd have to imagine this is a change of pace from both players, but most of K. Rool's tools, he's not going to be able to get strong Nair, for instance, unless Kirby's in the air, because against a grounded opponent, for someone as short of a hitbox as Kirby has, that's going to be so difficult to time. You're not going to be able to get F-tilt as easily unless you angle it down, which is not traditionally optimal for K. Rool.
Yep.
Unless you're at ledge. And, if you do manage to get him in the air, which isn't necessarily where Kirby likes to be, that's where you can start to thrive. But if he had so much trouble moving with Terry, I can't imagine what this is going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to get scary, especially if he doesn't understand the spacings for like getting Cannonball to hit crouching Kirby or getting Crown to hit Kirby, because those are just two super core aspects of K. Rool's kit that a lot of people walk in expecting to abuse. So if he just goes in spamming those and gets grabbed by Kirby, it's going to be suffering.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he's doing such a good job of using this throw invulnerability to get around the Crown for the second time, attempting to stage spike with the back air, but this is a matchup Psi Guy knows very well, even without that necessarily the most Kirby experience in the world.
We got a slugfest coming out from these two. They're both slugging so hard at each other, it's just been tap for tap.
Does get the barrier with the down tilt, and it is going to be Blanca taking the first stock. That's going to be one of the most dangerous tools in K. Rool's arsenal, because again, Kirby likes to stay grounded in most cases, and we're going to see him threaten again, even way before kill percent.
Yeah, it's going to be really scary for Kirby if he ever gets hit. That's one of the biggest things, is like, Kirby's so light, as long as you can dodge attacks, you're good, but if you're getting hit by F smash, down tilt F smash at 89, things are not going to work out as planned.
No doubt. Again with the down tilt, this time punishes with the down smash, didn't have the spacing properly right for the forward smash, but still in a very good position. This could be a punish again with the throw.
Ooh, tries to get the down air there. Almost catches the F smash at ledge, just a slight step back and things would have worked out there.
the early up B. A lot of Kirby's will do that to try and just cover themselves on the way back, but it's very minus on shield.
I think Psi Guy is playing, realizing that Blanca is being very down tilt hungry and just going in with dash attacks, knowing that even if he overextends, he'll be still in the end lag of a move where it probably will not matter. The rocket ledge is going to take Blanca's second stock.
Yeah, that ankle on PS2, very, very harsh. If you get sent at it a certain way, you will catapult off to the side of the map. Just using, I mean, I like using rock there because K-Rool can't swing back at it. Yeah, and it just kills him the same way twice in a row. That was nutty.
Yeah,
You gotta tech those, but that's also that's such a hard situation to deal with. You just get looped.
Pretty much. There's so little you can do to escape. It's incredibly difficult to challenge with K-Rool's recovery. It will provide the distance, but it doesn't necessarily provide the protection necessary to beat a character like Kirby with an invulnerable move like that.
Very well played by PSI. Just a quick cleanup crew.
Yeah, making sure, proving that he is not just a nest specialist. He does have other characters in the bag he can do it with, and showed it right there with a Kirby. It's going to be troublesome for him because he does have the likes of T3 Dom in his path, and I know he's been struggling with him in region, but the way he's been playing, he could definitely put a threat to him.
Yeah, that was definitely a cleanup. And I mean, one of the biggest things we saw about PSI was once he broke space, things ended up working out for him. And Richter is definitely a character where if you break his space, things get really scary for him, especially if you're able to catch the edge guards in the important spots. The Belmont players have been getting way, way, way better at recovering. It's actually pretty crazy, just the way they've been using up tether and down tether even at times to make it back, and just living for so much longer than it seemed like they could at the beginning of the game's lifespan. But we saw PSI putting on a lot of pressure off stage, so I don't think that'll be too much of a problem for him.
Absolutely. He does have some know-how in that matchup and probably should have at least some idea how to deal with backwards cross, how to deal with T3 Dom once he does get him into an advantageous situation. But Dom's such a master of making it back, and we saw so many people just chastise this character. Oh, he can't recover, without knowing the full extent of how far forward air reaches, of how much you can mix up with down air, how much you can get away with throwing a projectile off stage to cover yourself. And even if your opponent doesn't time their edge guard correctly, which isn't something you necessarily have to worry about facing most characters, it's not as easy as it seems.
Yeah, definitely not. And what you were saying about forward air is super true. That tether goes deep. It actually goes way deeper than it seemed. And straight tether doesn't always work the way it's supposed to, straightforward forward air and back air. But the up tethers and down tethers work perfectly fine, and Belmont players have been using that super well.
Yeah, both of those tethers, all of the tethers that Richter has, in fact, extend beyond the hitbox, which is where I think a lot of people have that sort of mental picture of, okay, he can hit me from this far away. That means he can tether from this far away. Whereas he's actually safe going a couple more feet back to avoid some sort of shallow edge guard.
Yeah. All right. Who are we? All right. So looking through these pools, just checking up on progress. It seems in I think it's A1, we have Gravy DDD versus Krieg, and Temporary Plan actually DQing. I believe that was one of the top seeds of this. So we have DK Lenny versus Galaxia in place of that.
Interesting. Krieg, actually one of the best players in his own region. Not quite sure why he was unseeded today, but he does have multiple wins on Best Ness and took Elegant to a game 5, I believe, in a recent C tier. So I say recent, recent-ish.
Yeah, as recent as possible. Pixel made it to semis off of 2 DQs. Absolutely love to see it. Liquid Crunch is in this bracket. That's actually pretty wild. I didn't know. Is playing Ludo currently.
Yeah. Speaking of names, by the way, that most people necessarily haven't seen for a while, all the way in Pool A4, you have Tyrant a player that many people will remember from Smash 4, was part of the PGR 100 there, a threatening Meta Knight there, and he's been very quiet in Ultimate, hasn't entered too much, especially in the past year and a half, but here he is again entering a tournament like this, and if you don't know the Meta Knight matchup or the Palutena matchup, he will take you to school.
Yeah. All right. So, Tyrant unfortunately DQing actually.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, feels bad. But next up, we're gonna have Midnight versus Mantra. That's gonna be in pool A3. Midnight running the Palutena, Mantra seeming to be a wolf main. So this is gonna be a very common matchup, you know, a classic, if you will.
This is a matchup where I'd imagine you have plenty of experience to draw from at all levels of the game, not just with some of the top Palus and some of the top wolves, but in every region and SoCal, all the West Coast has plenty of both of these characters. So this should not be unfamiliar to either player.
Yeah, I mean, any region you go, you've got one of your top wolves versus one of your top Palutenas. Like, there's always at least one on PR of both characters.
Sometimes it's the same person. Like these characters are ubiquitous. They're just everywhere.
They truly are.
I think one thing I think first stock matters a lot in this matchup, just because if Wolf gets the first stock, he gets away with forcing Palutena to run into the gun, which is super nice because when they're on even ground or when Palu has the lead, dash attack and back air actually prove to be pretty consistent problems for Wolf, unless he manages to drift around them. In that case, he's fine. But when they're actually like swinging at each other directly, dash attack and back air are always really hard for Wolf to deal with if he's not shooting the gun knowing that she's going to look for that.
Yeah, no question. And for a character like Wolf who doesn't have a great out of shield option before frame 10 with the likes of Nair and Fair, you're going to fall victim if both of you are caught in shield to Palutena's Rising Fair at frame 8. And that's just something you never want to let yourself get caught with.
Already got a couple fairs for the quick taps. Neither of them really opening up with any routes here. Just a very tit-for-tat neutral right now. Mantra almost pushing forward there. We're going to have Midnight with the first real extension of the set. What's the edge trap?
So let's jump into that up air, but good job falling with air, an excellently timed air dodge to get around Palutena's up air. We see both of them making great use of their mid-range tools. Wolf with his blaster, Palutena with the explosive flame and auto reticle, just threatening each other to get closer than they might like.
And I like this method Mantra kind of has to playing neutral, where he pushes Palu into a corner and then goes for that nice cross-up denial with the up smash, because a lot of Palus are always going to look for the cross because she's pretty safe on shield. That F smash making things very scary. Explosive flame not gonna catch Mantra there.
A bit late with that. That back throw going to be very close. Have to imagine with a pummel or two that might have been the kill, but Mantra still going to survive for now.
The drift off stage has been absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, runs into that explosive flame though. So smash. Mantra gonna have to clean the stock up a little bit fast. Palu with rage does get scary.
At this point, he's just fishing for some of these up smashes, letting him get in, and already a combo started with that Nair.
That up B recovery was so sick for Mantra. B reversing and then doing a quick snap downwards. Unfortunate teleport from Midnight too to follow it up.
Yeah, just incorrect on the angle chosen, but still in an okay position. Gets something with a parry there, but the down air attempt just out of frame advantage.
Both of them missing a lot of their early routes. Palu missing those fair grabs, as well as Mantra on Wolf. And it's just made things a little bit awkward from 1 to 20.
Mantra doesn't have a jump, but great angle on the flash to avoid the up smash. Does fall victim to that down throw back air, though.
Nasty parry punish there from Midnight. in a nice spot to hold this lead. Doesn't have to play too committal, gets caught by that late dash attack, but is going to get the Palu Nair started.
And this could really spell trouble. Again, that dash attack, you mentioned that Wolf might have trouble with it, and we're seeing that come to fruition. Isn't able to punish that auto reticle, and another down throw back air, just not DIing that correctly.
And this has been just suffering for Mantra here. Disadvantage for Palutena, absolutely fantastic in this matchup, especially when she has a whole stock to just kind of extend and flex on you, you know?
Speaking of extension, Midnight actually catching Mantra overextending towards the end, just holding that back part of the stage. And I think where Midnight was potentially threatening with a back throw is where that was going through Mantra's mind. All right, let's just get a hitbox out. Even if it misses, I'll probably be safe enough to jump away, but just went directly for the challenge and it proved to work out.
Yep. Very good stuff. Just storing that knowledge because, I mean, Mantra has the idea of last stock, I got back thrown and just harassed off stage for so long. Like, if I don't deal with this now, maybe I have a chance at getting this comeback. Midnight just in his head already catches the up smash on that approaching Nair.
Yeah, that back throw has to have been fresh in his mind. Died directly once and indirectly once from it for the first two stocks. And
yep,
you never want to avoid that. You do want to avoid, that same fate for the third stock, but it just played too much, and he played one-dimensionally right into Midnight's hand.
Yeah. A one-dimensional play going to be really scary versus a character like Palutena, who just has some of the most consistent punishes in the game. That back grab, you know, just a fantastically large Nair that also confirms into pretty much everything up until like 40%. And even then, she can still threaten you.
We're also seeing Mantra only go for grounded blaster as well, not threatening with short hop blaster, so Midnight knows that he has that range and he has the capability to just empty hop, and even if he's wrong on the blaster read, still is in an okay position.
Yeah. Never really threatened by that light damage. And I feel also just isn't too scared of Blaster in general because Mantra's been getting most of the damage in neutral from Blaster. So he's just kind of like, if he's not going to hit me with anything real, then I'm fine, I'll take that damage. Ooh, the back there again, gonna kill a lot faster on Town and City.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate if you're Mantra. You do need to be careful of that, and once again, it feels like he's just getting himself into these same troublesome positions as Game 1.
I like that landing Nair 1 into trying to pressure on the platform for Midnight. Very tricky play coming out so far.
Does punish with the F tilt, but just not enough to kill. He's trying the same thing with the back throw, but Midnight is able to make it past, doesn't avoid the up smash, and even with Town and City's very high ceilings, will be able to secure the kill.
Yeah, that anti-cross-up coming out again from Mantra. Signs of life. One thing I'd like to see a little bit more is Midnight likes to sit on the ledge for a while, so maybe a trump here and there from Mantra to sneak in those back airs could definitely lead to some good stuff.
Going for that hard roll read with the forward smash, Mantra is able to avoid it, but falls right again into the grab. And for the third time, he's DI'd that down throw incorrectly, leading to an untrue back air.
Mantra getting caught, not finishing combos as Palutena's not phasing him, which is just going to be terrifying every time. But Chance it, nice, very good 2-frame. Chance it snatching the lead, and Mantra takes it.
Yeah, and that's the peril playing against Wolf, especially on a stage where Town and City has these very narrow side blast zones. Anytime you're above 55, you're in potential danger of losing a stock to that 2-frame.
Pretty good pressure thus far from Mantra, just holding center stage.
Mantra still operating with an untouched final stock, so doesn't need to make anything too significant, can afford to just chip away.
Midnight now jumping off of ledge twice after down smash miss. I think Mantra has found something out here.
Gets that forward air into dash attack to work as well. Probably shouldn't back throw again. That isn't going to kill. Wants to keep it unstale.
Nasty teleport cancel coming from Midnight to get that corner back. Little bit of stage control.
Threatening with both up tilt and dash attack, both options that might kill with the right hitbox.
Very nice timing on that dash attack. Just a little bit later than Palu landing with the back air is going to actually sneak it in. That was threatening too, because if Mantra had ended up getting hit by that back air, things got really scary really fast.
Yeah, just a tremendous momentum shift after Mantra landed that down smash 2 frame in the second stock.
Yep.
He just adjusted so well, played right outside of Palutena's dash attack range and back air range at the same time, and we saw him go in with a grab a couple times, stay back and blaster once, and at the end, didn't go for that dash attack too often until it was absolutely vital. And that's what secured this decisive kill for him.
Yeah, very good stuff. Very well played. Saving that dash attack for more of a kill option, because we saw a couple of them here and there during the early stocks, but the only one we really saw take big effect was that dash attack. So good stuff from Mantra. Evening it up at 1-1. And we're going to be on Battlefield for this last game.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one for sure. I know just from watching Midnight in the past that does have these teleport angles absolutely committed to memory.
We have no jump on the side of Mantra, but Midnight actually doesn't manage to secure the kill. Corner still holding the corner though. Pressure right now absolutely terrifying. Midnight has read every ledge option from Mantra. Clean stock. Very, very clean stock.
Great coverage all around as well. We saw that 14 frame active down tilt. Such a good tool at, getting rid of both of Wolf's recovery options at once if well timed.
Yep. And that Packer gonna even it right back up, catching her early. It's that late air grab in the corner again. Tries to catch the same setup.
Midnight back on the front foot once again, though. This has just been a game of momentum. It's just a matter of when Mantra gets back into the driver's seat, and Midnight isn't letting him.
That cross-up prevention once again. Very nice pressure. Midnight realizing can't extend on those combos too much.
Allows the roll for free. Great use of the back air to put Mantra off to the right. Again, had that roll scouted out and finds it perfectly with the grab. He's detected a habit.
Very consistent. Has detected several habits, honestly. Looking at the first stock and this one, because the ledge has been really scary for Mantra. Almost did. Jump on the end, but down tilt not gonna catch. Back air will.
Yeah, the Firewolf out of the corner, a gutsy option for Mantra. It's not something he necessarily threatened before, but playing outside of Wolf's dash attack range will already give you that coverage anyway.
Very nice use of that down air. Grounded down air as a combo starter from Palu, just such a nice option. Unfortunate.
Again, the E-Flame just being a pain in Mantra's side.
Ooh! Grisly way to end it. Very telling too. I mean, Midnight had some of the nastiest teleport cancels. Just the knowledge of general positioning before teleporting, like the one during Town and City to get out of the corner was so good. So to end it with a teleport cancel downer like that, very spicy. Very spicy.
Question. It wasn't something he even threatened before. He went 1-for-1 on that teleport to down air, whereas before he would just simply go for a down tilt at ledge or an E-flame or something else to threaten, perhaps lulling Mantra into a false sense of security.
Yeah, just very clean for Midnight. And that last game, just overall, so many reads on the ledge, so many reads center stage once, Mantra had finally found their footing again. Just consistently in their head for sure. It was really hard for Mantra to do very much off the ledge, which versus Palutena is just pretty consistent. She's a very threatening character on the ledge. But Mantra just kind of got hard read for the last 4 minutes of that set.
Yeah, we saw him resort to roll a couple times, which again, Palutena can cover that pretty well with that grab range, if not a harder read with an F smash. And every time he jumped, anti-aired with back air, with nair, with up air, so many different options to cover that. Neutral get up, again, you're getting grabbed, or you're getting E-flamed, or you're getting something. You have to not only pick your moment, but pick your option as well. And if either one of them is incorrect, you're back off stage at a minimum.
Yep, exactly. Very good stuff. I believe Midnight is going to go on to fight. Syra ended up actually DQing. So we're going to have Jay Yankee or Jengi versus Midnight in semis of this pool.
Interesting. Jengi playing the Richter, and again, Palutena very fearsome in that particular matchup. It's not impossible, as we've seen Dom prove before, but it is one of those options where, Palo is perhaps the best anti-zoner in this game, forcing them out of their comfort zone with some of these mid-range tools, and then just using that frame advantage once they get up close.
Yep. And she has very nasty zoning tools as well. Just the use of auto reticle. I think the scariest thing about Belmont's Palu is that auto reticle actually ends up catching cross, and it stops cross from moving forward. And that's so hard for Belmont to deal with. Looking back at this instant replay, yeah, we see the corner pressure coming out from Midnight was just so consistent.
Yeah, we saw Mantra did go for some options, and that 2-frame right there, very crucial in securing that game too. But once this one passes, again, that back air, very well timed, catching that grounded blaster, and waiting and picking his option very well with that dash attack. But once we got into game 3, things were a much different story of very early miscalculation on the height there, and it was all over for